Cause everybody got vices, 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 vices. Everybody got vices, 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 vices.
All right, so welcome guys to the very first episode of V.I.C.E.S, the vintage Iowa City Exchange show. So we figured we'd start a little podcast. You know, we have a lot of cool talks at the store. You know, just about music, fashion, sneakers, current events, you know, anything that's going on, and we just kind of want to bring that to you guys. So my name is Tony Casella. I'm sitting here with
Demetrius
and Peter.
Yeah.
And we also got the intern over here on the corner.
Yeah, this is Noah. I'm gonna be editing the podcast, doing all levels, you know,
keeping us right on the GarageBand, make sure everything's sounding good. So
right. GarageBand master.
So this first episode, we really just wanted to give like an introductory.
Just basically explain a little more about ourselves and the store. I don't know. I guess anything that we haven't talked about already in all the interviews that we've talked.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to give you guys a basic, knowledge of who we are, how V.I.C.E.S came about, so you can go back to this episode if you've maybe never been to the store, or even if you've never heard our backstory, and then, from there we really want to bring on guests locally. Like, we know a lot of cool people around town that have some crazy stories that would be fun.
Yeah, non-incriminating.
Yeah. No dry snitching in any of these these interviews, but so yes, I guess I want to start with, I think the beginning of the story probably starts with Demetrius, because I mean, you used to work at the Full Kit, R.I.P. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So, but in bringing that up is a lot of us met through the Full Kit or through like Demetrius at the Full Kit.
Waiting in line for shoes out there.
Right.
Yeah, campouts, all that stuff. So you worked there for how long?
I think I worked there for like 3.5 years, like almost 4 years.
Yeah, I remember I came back for the Kevin Hart show when he was at Carver, and I came in and D was working, and I think I was wearing like some Pirate Blacks.
You wore that crazy hat.
I definitely thought they was fake.
No, straight for fit. Those are my finish line days, man. I got those for the discount on the employee side.
You just never saw people around here wearing them. Like,
no, that was,
man, this dude. Probably.
Man, that was early easy. I had 2 pairs of turtles too. I thought I was a man. But no, so I walk in there. I'm like, yo, who's this dude? He's cool as hell. The other guy, when I'd been in there, was kind of quiet and would just like watch you. But me and D had a good conversation. So that's the first time I met D.
Yeah, I think I camped out for sneakers with Peter before, but I never talked to him. It was like
I've never seen those guys at the Full Kit. They were always like the first in line.
I can't remember.
He was working, but
Yeah, I mean that's how it was.
That's
like me and G would be out there, and then like I'm sure you were there, but I didn't know who you were at the time. Like probably like the Bread 4, White Cement 4, those
Tiffany Dunks, all the 12s that came like the remastered ones, the 4s.
I was working there though at that time. I think. Yeah.
So not to bring the Full Kit too much, but it was a starting point. It was a kind of a jumping off point for us and everybody meeting, and the culture in Iowa City. Like, you got to respect it for what they did.
No, for sure. The kid was dope, dude. Shout out to them. They still got the Davenport.
Yeah, you can still find them out in Davenport. But so going from there, so Demetrius set up the first sneaker expo in Iowa City, and that's really the start of the V.I.C.E story.
Yeah. So I was working at the hospital after the Full Kit, and I wanted to just get back on the scene, so I was trying to figure out ways to do so. And I said, you know what? Let's do a sneaker expo. I reached out to Simeon, and he had a space, Red Ink, and then I
where the Den used to be downtown, big spot,
downtown
main block.
City.
Good location.
25-cent sodas if you're like the giant 20.
Didn't they have and like a smoke shop upstairs and print T-shirts? They had like, it was a wild mix of.
For $25, like Iowa golf, basketball, football,
bootleg,
baseball,
probably not even licensed. I don't know how they were trapping out of there.
Bring it back.
But
I miss the Den, man.
That was Iowa City State. Should have never left.
Because you would go to Mesa, right? You get the pizza, and then you get the 25-cent soda, so you don't have to pay $1.
Dude,
bogus price for a can of soda, right?
The one that was $1, there was $1 soda too. I think that was just
huge. It's probably like a big old, like the trucker size, like
disgusting.
88 ounce.
Like they banned those in New
York.
York.
Like the question was like, how are you guys making money off of these sodas?
Yeah, the syrup is cheap. It's not that cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, I linked up with Simeon and we planned kick it. You know what I mean? I didn't know like what it was gonna do, how it was gonna turn out. I reached out to. First, I found Peter like just go. I was walking through downtown and he popped up on suggested people and I saw him and he had a shit ton of followers and I was like, you know, how come I don't know about this guy? You know what I mean? He's selling Supreme and all this stuff. I was like, this is exactly what I need. I reached out to him and Peter was down. He was like,
yeah, I remember that.
you know, he felt.
But, we met up at Shorts, something like that.
Oh yeah, we met up at Shorts so we can trade. He had some little
Bunny,
kid
Baby
Air
Ones or
Max.
something like that. Yeah.
Or was it maybe, I don't remember what we did. We traded for some kid shoes, and actually at that time, I told him about wanting to do Kick It, and then I told him that I wanted to do a pop up afterwards. But you know, and it was just gonna be like some sort of pop up, you know. And he said he had a name. He was like, you know what, I got a name for it, and he was like, man, it's really good, man. I can't tell you what it is.
I didn't want him to take it.
And I mean, of course, that name becomes Vice.
So he's like V.I.C.E.S, and you know, he explained it was like Vintage Iowa City Exchange.
And it's funny. I think a lot of people still don't know that's what the store stands for.
Yeah.
Like we've only really shown it on
The first T-shirt.
The first T-shirt and like the North Face sticker has it spelled out. So not everybody really knows that it's not Vice, just one word. It's just, it sounds good that way, but it means a lot more, you know.
I always feel like when we get big enough, V.I.C.E will contact us and we'll just be Vintage Iowa City Exchange. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, there's no. We can be V.I.C.E. They don't have any.
We're a separate lane though.
Yeah,
Like a media company.
We're
We're
media
retail
company,
stores.
we're retail and clothing. Like
It should be good.
there was no business filed in the LLC when we checked it on the website or whatever. It was open.
And they're in
At least
different
not in
states.
Iowa City.
But to get back to Kick It.
So, that was the first time I heard the name V.I.C.E. So I had to get back to planning Kick It. I reached out to Tony, and he had the Rebound Vintage, and it said a store coming to Iowa City soon. And I was like, "This is where is? I didn't even know where you lived at for real." But I was just like, "Dang!" People would say like, "You hear there's a store coming to Iowa City?" Like, I'm like, no.
Making waves with like 500 followers. I had
Who is this dude?
I finally cracked a K like a couple months ago. So this was like early on, like living in California.
You just got to 1,000 followers.
I'm almost at 1,100, but yeah.
Yo,
like a couple months back.
what's your at real quick?
Oh, we'll drop that at the end, but yeah.
Tony, I only got like 600.
Yeah,
You
Tony
only got
V.I.C.E.
600 followers?
Bro, you got to get me up there.
Dude, you go to school with 20,000 people.
I'm not like
At least.
handing out flyers on the street. I don't give a shit.
Hey, followers are cryptocurrency if you ask me. That's the
Yeah.
real crypto. You get some followers, you can make you some money out here.
For real. There's a T-shirt that just says my ad on it on the back. Just talking about that over
Right.
on campus. Follow
You
me.
should make
I
a
guess.
box logo that you print your ad on the back. That gets some press.
Nah.
We don't do the box logo.
So,
A real box logo.
all right. So, anyway, Tony came all the way from Cali. He flew out to the sneaker
Yeah,
event.
just to do Kick It to unveil the Rebound and say I'm doing a store and then that's when we all met. I didn't even check out Peter's stuff because I heard he was down at the other end of the room and I was like, oh, that's the Iowa Thrift
He's
guy.
he's like a mythical person. Like nobody knows what Peter really looks like. It's just an Iowa Thrift page. But that's how I felt when I saw the page. I'm like, how is there a person that lives here with this many followers that I do not know about? I felt like
to this day hides his personal account. Is very secretive about the personal
account reveal at 5,000.
Yeah, hey, when we start a Patreon and we're making $10K a month on Patreon, Peter will drop his personal.
Or I'll drop it
info.
for him because I know
That'll
it.
be a
So.
ways. That'll be a whole. We'll see.
Hey, something. Hey,
One way or another, it's getting
get us
dropped.
we know you want to see Pete back in the day, what he was looking like.
Dude, but Kick It was like a dope experience.
It was a great turnout.
It was a good turnout. I was impressed by
all the
people that came and the stuff that the vendors had too. It was like some cool stuff, you know. Actually, looking back, like we slept on a lot of stuff. Like I was thinking about like some of the stuff that even Emily had on the rack, some of the stuff that you had back then, some of the Supreme stuff you sold for pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap,
Yeah, you know. But I mean, it was fun, and that's also, you know, the cool thing about it is like kids being able to get good deals.
Man, thinking back on it, I sold a dead stock bread, Royal, and Black Toe for I
Was
believe
$750 or something like that, or
$800 or $900 for the 3, maybe something like that. $758,
like
and like I mean,
double.
dead stock bread alone is what $500-600 now. Like
Yeah, you know, on
so,
stock,
you know, I was handing out some steals too, but you know, had to make some sales to cover that plane ticket.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the turnout was really really good, and essentially that was the little melting pot that got Vice kind of started, because I flew back to California and wasn't moving back until October, so it was a couple months later. And then when I came back is when me and Peter and D all started really linking up, and man, we had about a
6 months of, like,
probably 3-4
planning
month
or
stretch
whatever.
of meeting all the time, and like, yo, is the store the right move? Where do we go?
Right.
How do we do it? Man, just a lot of that. That time was very interesting, because like
It wasn't fun. It was fun and exciting, but it was like stressful. Of like, is this decision going to be the right thing to do?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
we were already doing decent stuff on our own. Like,
yeah. But what we gauged that on is Peter and I got in on the downtown pop-ups for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
And I mean, he had some Supreme stuff. We had sneakers, mostly vintage, and man, we did pretty well for a Sunday. You know, in the middle.
yeah.
Yeah,
in
and,
a little
and,
wooden
and that
box,
was another
like-
thing at Kick It. All the vintage people did the
Was it?
best.
No,
Like
that wasn't
like everybody who was selling vintage clothing and like, you know, I guess somewhat hype. Nobody really had hype at the thing, but most of the vintage stuff, like everybody who had mostly vintage, like did really well, and I was impressed.
And low key, that's when I first met the interns too. I think Noah
Oh,
might have
yeah,
been
you
there,
guys did
but
have a booth.
our boy Evan and Will, for sure, they had a Grand Slam vintage. They were right across from me. And
I wasn't there. I either had work or I was out of town or something. I was super bummed out about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Braverman was there with his. He had the YSL like Bread One looking shoes.
Oh,
on.
yeah.
I got you
yeah.
two confused actually back in the day, but
Yeah.
so yeah, man, it was really a good melting point. But so we did the pop up for Thanksgiving, me and Peter, and pretty much vintage, and did really well. We had a lineup actually. We had about it was probably 8 to 10 kids outside. One had like a little GoPro and like they were filming. We made a recap video, and I think
cool.
from that pop up is when we were kind of like, yeah, man, people would be so excited. We weren't buying or selling or buying or trading, but we were just selling. And we're like, man, if these kids got stuff that they could bring to us and we're rotating product, like it was gonna work.
Right.
And that one led into the second pop up back at the same spot where Kick It was. So we did the actual Vice pop up. It was 2-3 days in December.
Like, right at the end of the year, I think it was the
right before the first of the year. Yeah. So and if you remember,
actually, it was supposed to be. Were we only supposed to do 2 days?
And we did a third because we were doing so well. Yeah, but
and it was a blizzard.
No, I was gonna say, if you remember the weather, it was like you go outside and your like boogers would freeze. It wasn't the vortex, but it was like, man, the snow was crazy, and like
I had on a snowsuit for
dude,
sure.
yeah, it was like the weather was nuts, and these people were coming out and like shopping, and product was moving, and like
driving from CR.
Yeah, people come in like blizzard conditions. It was it was crazy. So I think. I mean,
that was confirmation.
Well, we signed the lease for for
Vice
the day that wrapped up. So we're like, we're going straight from this into like.
Shout out to all those people who came and supported that event.
Yeah, man. Because if those would have flopped, we probably would have been like, no, this isn't gonna work, And students were gone for both of those. It was Christmas break and Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, it was all local people.
And Kick It was in the summer.
Yeah.
So I mean, all three events were like when students are gone. So I mean, imagine if we would have done it in the. Yeah, people really came out and messed with us. So,
actually, Kick It, I think it was the first weekend people were back in town.
Oh, was it end of August or something?
Or like
middle of August.
Third week of August.
Yeah, it was close. Either way, like it was just it was like wasn't the ideal real times to maybe do all of them, but they people came out and messed with us. So, so I guess going from that, that's kind of how we started. But the build out of the store, I know we did the George Keel video and. We kind of talked about how it was a homeless shelter, but the building, it wasn't really a homeless shelter.
It's like old poor.
It was an office building, so homeless people would go there and get like sorted out and like, hey, this shelter has a bed, you can go there, and they would like have people stay if they needed to, but
homeless people were kicked out of
I know, right? I felt bad. It was like the highlight of like
a little funny story about the George Keel thing is they wanted to name the video after that segment. They sent us the first title, and it was former homeless shelter becomes sneaker store.
Oh, right.
And we're like, no, that's not what we're trying to highlight.
People would just get outraged, like, man, you guys kicked out homeless people to.
Well, the best comment was like, the best comment was, kick out homeless people, bring in expensive product, profit or something. And like people really thought we just like renovated this building.
Like it was vacant for a long time. Nobody was using it.
That building was nasty, bro.
Yeah,
like
it was a pretty old building.
It's still, yeah, I don't know.
Like I remember when we first went in there, like man, I did not believe that it was. I don't know. I didn't think it could work because it was like.
It was one of those diamond in the rough situations for sure.
Yeah,
like from seeing it what it was and like moldy and the weird carpet and everything to like what it is now. Like
so,
color would be
yeah.
We
So
were make them look like clouds and like just throw bleach on the blue carpet and it was gonna look like clouds from The Simpsons and like that quickly got
or tired or
shut down. Yeah, it's
like
gonna look like puke.
Remember we talked about cutting the walls in half instead and like
making like a counter situation.
Making like a counter situation. Instead of actually cutting the wall down, we would have like cut it in half.
Bro, that would have looked like a prison like commissary or something.
That's wild.
Yeah, people would have came in and been
walked right
really
out,
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, all right, man.
Because I mean, the goal, and it makes sense that we are in like a place that feels like a house or an apartment building, but the goal is to like have people feel comfortable and want to come and hang out and like feel like they can just like kick it there and take everything in that we've created. Like that's really the goal. So. Definitely, the construction was interesting. Like you guys are very handy and build stuff, and I'm very not. But we actually
the electrician and like the dude that did the pipes and like he turned the water on and it's like go downstairs and check if there's water and it's like just leaking through the ceiling. The pipes are like
and low key fuck Flex Seal tape. Dog. That shit does not work.
Bro, you hate on Phil Swift?
Yes, bro. We had a crazy ceiling leak and we're like, oh. Let's go get some flex tape. We slapped that shit on there. It made it worse. It was spraying out like even harder.
I don't think you use that shit for crazy leaks.
Yeah, you're supposed to like.
No, I mean, it's still running water. Yeah, he makes a screen door into a boat.
Oh, the commercial?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
So you tell me you can't stop a couple little leaks that are coming out of pipes that are like rushing water. Like,
it would be like, you need more water. And it would work.
That's the industrial stuff.
Now so I had a friend from high school because I reached out. I was like, does anybody do construction? Because we wanted to kind of keep it low key and just like do it the cheap way, because we didn't really have a lot of money to invest in it. It was like, let's get this done as cheap as possible and open the doors. So he came out and I think we gave him a couple $100. We were knocking walls down and climbing up in the ceiling. Oh my dude, the load bearing thing. And then I had a friend who does.
Well, okay, let's clear this up because we it's not like we didn't know. Like we looked at the plans and it didn't say, like whether or not
we had very mixed reviews. We had a couple different people look at it and we could not figure out if it was or wasn't.
Yeah. So I don't want people to think like, oh, we're just knocking out and like didn't know.
But I mean, at the end of the day, like just a little wall like that, is the ceiling really gonna cave in? If it is load bearing, you take out one little portion.
I don't know. The building is just like it's a pretty old building.
Old building. But hey, it's safe now. We put up the header board and we're good. But I also had a friend come in and do the electricity or the wiring and stuff, and I was just there with. I don't think you guys were there, or maybe someone was in the basement, and he touched two wires that were hot because the dude doing the construction mislabeled the wires or something.
Oh God,
bro, this is like spark of green lightning like hit him in the face, and he looks at me and I thought he was blind or dead or something. Like I was like terrified, and he had like soot in his beard and under his eye and stuff. And like I was like, man, this might be a wrap before we even start. Like it was definitely a learning experience. Maybe the next time we're gonna do it a little more
move in ready or close to it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it was
still fun.
Dude, it was so much. Thinking back on that and like D building the bench that you see in the store with all the stickers, he built that downstairs.
Me and Mike helped out on that. Our graffiti guy.
Yeah, hey, shout out graffiti guy, aka Mike Wolf.
Mike used to build skate park shit just back in the day.
Oh, so like ramps and stuff. Yeah, I mean that comes handy. You can build a bench real quick. It's a little crooked if you sit on it. It might wobble a bit, but it hasn't broken yet. No,
if you notice, there's like little wood chips under one of the sides.
Dude, I was man, take those wood chips bro. Talking about those, I was adjusting them the other day and got a splinter like under my nail. From that, and my finger was like tingling and stuff the other day, and I splintered from those. Damn
be
chips,
careful
bro.
when you sit on like the far side of the bench because then you gotta adjust it in.
Man, we shouldn't be telling people are gonna come and look for lawsuits and shit now. Like, hey, we got insurance and lawyers. So
we're about to chill out. I'm about to go fix it.
Yeah, just kidding. Lawyers by the time you hear this, the chips are gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean the construction phase was pretty crazy. We had like I said, our graffiti guy, Mike, you know, our bro, he came in and funny story about that is he tagged that entire entryway wall, didn't like it.
I like that person.
Covered it up and then re-tagged it. So he actually, you know, 2 different murals on there.
And the first one was cool.
But
it just,
He said no.
Hey, it's artistic. I mean, you can't, if
he doesn't like it,
you put it up, you don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Clean slate and do it over. So that's cool. That's like some of those
I ain't paying
things.
you twice. No.
But like those are the things that make the store like so cool to us. And like when we're gonna have to move, it's gonna be hard because like
we're gonna have to cut pieces out of
We'll
the
take
wall.
the wall down.
We're taking the
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, he's coming with.
Wait,
most people don't even know that Scrooge McDuck is there.
Back there. Yeah, because you got all the clothes hanging. Well, D drew in the back room cartoon characters all over the walls just from looking at a phone or like a trading card and like just with like a Sharpie and then coloring it with a crayon. So that's all hand drawn. Like that people don't. I don't know how they think we did it. I guess we didn't tell them, but that's all hand drawn on the walls back there. So
yeah, it's all organic art.
We kind of picked some characters. Like we got like Mr. Sparkle, like the Homer episode where he's on like the detergent in like Japan or whatever. So we picked some like kind of.
That's
right. I want to do some more stuff on the wall, but.
And we got the big Supreme Gon's head behind the Supreme rack. We threw a bunch of stuff up before the George Keel video, which I guess is a major part of the story too. But I guess that's a little bit fast forwarded.
Yeah.
But so what else about the construction? Anything else you got stands out to you guys from the construction days before we actually opened?
I'm trying to think.
Opening day pictures to like. You know what our opening day looked like to now. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I remember I snapped one where like I think we had like maybe 20 Supreme pieces on the rack and like the shoe rack was so bare and like
a lot of space in between the clothes.
We had a mannequin in the corners before the TV even before.
The
so
mannequin was in the corner with like a guest shirt on or a Hawkeye jacket.
Yeah, so it's like it went from being bare and like you know we thought and it's crazy because we thought we had some shit back then. We're like we got
like
Supreme
25 pairs of shoes.
We had like 2 Bape tees or something. Oh my god! The case we had like one or two Calabasas the gray joints.
Yeah, I think that's the only Yeezy we had.
No, I had a blue tint because I hit those right before we opened. But yeah, it wasn't hardly any Yeezys or anything. We had a couple like Jordan 1s or like. Right. I think we might even have those public school 15s in the case at one point.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Because it was just like a collab and it was like a little bit nicer and more expensive, but.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, man. Because like that's the thing we could have.
And we did a buyout for $500.
Oh yeah. So shout out I believe Zane, right? Zane. Used to work at Finish Line. He hooked us up, man.
Yeah.
$500, and I think we got a couple ones, some Supreme stuff, and
some info.
That was really the major investment that we made to start the store off. That was like the store's inventory, and just kept rolling that.
Stuff was our own.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff we just put together.
But that's the crazy part is we could have been dead in the water early if people weren't bringing in good stuff every day.
Yeah, shout out our city.
Because that was the thing is like if people aren't bringing in stuff, we're gonna have the same stuff or end up with nothing, and then what do we do? But
yeah, because that was a big thing. Is how do we not just get stuff dumped on us? You know what I'm saying, and make sure we're selling stuff. But man, people come in. It's a good balance.
What I thought from like the outside when you guys were first starting to do it was that it was actually going to be like really good at the beginning, and then like people were just going to trade in all their stuff, and then. There wouldn't be people bringing in new stuff, but there's so many more people that are into it than
There's so much stuff coming out, man. I guess as long as we can keep getting what people want, but it's so cool because, like, for those of us that were around, all of us, before we were around, there was like not anywhere to get like some of these brands or to see them in person. So, for us, even us working or owning it and being there all the time, like it's still cool to like see all the stuff that comes in. It's exciting.
Yeah,
I mean every day. So like, I feel like a customer. You know what I mean? When I come in, I'm like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah, it's been hard not to kind of shop for ourselves when people bring stuff in. It's like it'd be cool to have on the rack, but I kind of want it too. It's like it's a struggle, but I mean that's been the goal of the store is to just provide people with stuff that you. Before couldn't have gotten in the entire state, and now we're starting to see other stores pop up over the state. And Illis Around was doing consignment shoes out in Des Moines, and you got the spot downtown. So like,
shout out to all of the stores in Iowa.
Yeah, man.
What do we price check?
Yeah, I guess there's price check.
The Spot, Illis Around.
a little smaller ones that are maybe popping up, but
retail resale
out in Davenport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's all love between those guys. Like, I mean, it just forwards the culture. If more people are into vintage clothing, they're gonna look out for where they can get vintage stuff at. It's not
no, it's awesome because like you said, it's building the culture, you know.
So I mean so that's the goal is, you know, have people or like us to put Iowa on the map and maybe go from there, you know, like see where it can take us from there. So I guess we kind of touched on it earlier, but I want to get to Peter, how he got. You were talking about how he had all these followers and no one really knew how it was. I think it's an interesting story how you got your kind of internet clout. I mean,
the Supreme blank deal and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing, I guess, or the main thing was when the Supreme blanks were popping up at Kmart, you went and cleared out the Iowa City one, right? That was the first.
Yeah, I'd found like 30 some of them over there, and I called Demetrius to come get some of them. And
thanks for doing it, man. Most people wouldn't, you know.
Well, I mean, we were going to Kmart like every day at that point because they were going out of business, and like we were buying stuff pretty much every day just to flip on eBay.
Oh, so I don't even think I knew that. So you're grabbing like other, like what other stuff was there to
like North Face bags? They
just had a bunch
crazy
of
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember
Grills, Coleman equipment, like.
I saw you get all those blanks, and then like Evan and I went the next day, and I was like, oh, you know, we got to find at least one. And like, you got all of them.
Cleared them out. And they were like everywhere else they were $4, but at this one they were $2.70 because they were like.
Dude.
And I still bought 20
40% off or something like that.
So you snatched up all those, and then how did that transcend into the California trip? Like what?
Well, I had made, I got those, and then like I just kind of made a layout on the floor or whatever, and took a picture of them, and then a dude from Long Beach hit me up on Instagram and just said, "Hey, I found a bunch of these at either the Kmart or wherever he got them from. He had like I think 2,000 or 3,000 of them." You
should explain what you're making though.
Yeah. I'll get to that. But yeah, that's kind of how like that trip happened. So I hit my buddy up in Denver because I knew he like wanted to do some kind of t-shirt business stuff, and I was like, "Yo, there's this guy in Long Beach. He's got all these shirts. Like, let's make a move out there and go get them. Like, they're gonna cost us like $17 a piece, and people are paying $30 just for the shirt. If we put a cool graphic on them, like I guarantee we can sell them for more." So we went and did that, and then.
But you drove.
Yeah, we drove. Like I drove from Iowa City to Denver, picked him up, and then drove from Denver to Long Beach, bought the shirts in a parking lot, stayed the night, and then went back the next day to Denver and then to Iowa City, and it was like 4,000 miles in 3.5 days, 4 days.
And that, like, I think
it was pretty wild.
Yeah, there's beauty in that though. Is like you got to put in the work if you really want to make some money doing this. Like
I was nervous about it too. Like as soon as I got to Denver. Like we had kind of had a discussion, and we actually had a like misunderstanding of what we wanted to do with the shirts. He wanted to put like other un-Supreme related stuff on it, and I was like, no, we should put like Supreme mock-ups or Supreme rip-offs on the shirt because like who's gonna buy a random logo that has nothing to do with Supreme on a Supreme tee? And it was like, oh shit, did I just drive halfway across the country for like a mistake? And it's like, uh-oh.
But so that was the goal. So that's what you ended up doing was making or finding Supreme, like custom logos that Supreme hadn't done and putting them on the shirts.
And I had found one a long time ago before I even found like the Supreme blanks. Like I found this Supreme Seinfeld logo online, and that was actually somebody else's design, and that like brought up a bunch of like potential like lawsuit shit.
But that's the one that you made the shirt, posted it, and then High Snobiety posted the shirt, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the spark of like followers and
interactions came from. A bunch of flooded messages of just like, oh, this is so and so's design, like you stole this shit, and it was like, I mean, I googled the Supreme Seinfeld logo, and that image came up. There was no watermark or nothing, so I was like, I'm just gonna use this and ask for forgiveness later.
But then you ended up paying the guy, right? Or
I gave him 10% of every sale, so he made like $400 or $500.
It worked, and it was like something he made years ago that never got used.
He was excited to see it on a T-shirt. So
how many followers did you get?
Probably like 2,000 or 3,000 from it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was pretty crazy. And then I guess fast forward into the I guess we got to talk about the Sean Witherspoon stuff. That's another little part of it.
Sean, come on the show.
We could phone him in because we've had some funny interactions with them. We'll get to that in later episodes. But you made a Cartoon Network, like, so it said Supreme New York and like the Cartoon Network logo to make one of the custom shirts, and Famous Dex ended up with one somehow,
yeah, it was
right?
someone to him, and he got.
That's
I'm not sure
pretty
how he got
But
it.
you were in LA and you showed the design to the guys?
I showed it to the guys out there, and I was just like, I kind of wanted to give them a Supreme Seinfeld one to like put up in the New York store just to have if it was something cool. And they were like, well, we can't like really do that because people might think we sell fake stuff if we have like a replica or a custom like that. But then like 2 weeks after that, I woke up and like I had a couple messages like, dude, did you see these T-shirts Round 2 made? And it was like literally the same thing.
The Cartoon Network logo, but Round 2 or whatever.
This is kind of funny. So I was like, all right, let's make a post about this and see what's up. And just said like, I think I said like great minds think alike or something like that. But
and Sean clapped back with like like 2 paragraphs. I wish we could. I should have screenshotted it because it was very
Did you
like.
screenshot it?
oh, that shit's still up there, I think.
No,
Like,
but
I
you
don't
gotta
have it.
scroll and find. It was a lot of comments on
Yeah,
that
I
thing,
went
but
through.
it was something about like.
They had the design in the like
How
in
many-
the works for months or a year, and it's just
And like stay in your
Yeah.
lane type of shit. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It was very
I'm
like
not
passive
sure
aggressive,
what my
but
lane
also
is,
like
but-
he tried to like little bro you like
He didn't say stay in your lane.
Yeah.
not
I
like
mean,
that,
I
but it
don't
was like
know.
it was like a be
Right.
happy with what you're doing. Like don't like I don't know. It was a weird like it was definitely
Right.
a clapback. It was interesting,
Yeah.
but
Well,
so ever
Pete,
since then.
don't be coming at Sean wrong, Pete. No,
anybody. I just put a great minds think alike, I guess.
right.
But yeah, so I mean, so
Yeah.
Pete's been a clout goblin out here for years. Like he's got the most followers.
I
Like,
think all internet beef is just like a misunderstanding like this, where
Oh, I
it's
don't
just
think
like,
there's any beef. It's just
okay.
You guys have created the beef through jokes with me of saying like, oh, you guys are beefing over
Right.
this and this. No.
What's lighter than beef? I don't know what to
Scuffle,
call this.
tofu.
Yeah,
yeah, I think we joke around that Pete wants to give Sean the hands, but I think
No,
if they-
I think the jokes come from Pete looking like Sean.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah. So Pete, if you haven't seen him,
Looks like me, I'm fucking
people want to know what Iowa
Jesus.
Thrift looks like. He looks like Sean's
Very
cousin or
similar.
something. They definitely look alike. So.
So I think that's like a good synopsis on the Iowa Thrift saga. How he got some clout and I guess a little bit on me just to round it out. So I was actually I've always been into nostalgic like 90s stuff. I was born in 91, so I love all that like wrestling and everything. And I was living in Indiana working at Finish Line, and I didn't use my discount as much as I should have. I should have been stacking up on like every Jordan release that came out. I kind of wasted that, but I started thrifting when I was out there. Came up on a WWF tee and a Stone Cold tee, and I'm like, man, like this stuff is dope, and it's just sitting here at Goodwill for like $2, and it kind of sparked. I'm on eBay every day picking up shirts. End up moving to California kind of on a whim just to work, and start going to flea markets and thrifting all the time. And I knew I was gonna move back to Iowa, so I'm like, man, what the hell am I gonna do? Came up with the idea to open up a store because I went to school at Iowa, graduated from there, and there was nowhere really cool to shop. I mean, you had the full kit, but it was like kind of a different lane, and so that's where kind of I made the Rebound page and said store coming soon to Iowa City. That kind of I guess
spoke it into existence.
yeah, man, it's
Right.
really like that. Yeah, I think that's a crazy part of our story is you just gotta like put it out in the universe that you're gonna do this and like really have a drive for it and like know that it's gonna work, and like if you really put the work in, like you can make this shit happen because we didn't invest a lot of money, and we just kind of had the stuff put together and like
a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of
the
planning and all that stuff. And
Yeah,
like,
I
I mean,
mean-
we still had like a good solid like inventory ourselves. So, but
oh yeah, we all but I mean that was the thing is I was out there like flea marketing every spare moment I had. I was hitting all the thrifts out there, flea markets, and just like stacking up on stuff because I'm like, this is cool. There's nowhere to get it out there, so like let's see what happens. So
Right.
and that was the best though, to have like a job to support my thrifting to where I didn't have to worry about like selling shit. It was like I know I'm going to get paid every 2 Fridays or whatever. It's like all right, I'm going to just trade my time in the morning, and then after that I'm going to the thrift store and I'm spending $30-$40 a day on.
But I think we can get to that point someday where we're just gonna be out hitting the road, finding the cool stuff to curate for the store. We just got to we're still early where we're putting the grind in at the store every day,
Right.
buying, selling, trading, maneuvering, figuring out our business. But
We're getting our interns trained up.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. Training every day. I wake up and I scroll through the feed. I see the Yeezys. I look at StockX. I see the prices.
Yeah.
no, but for like as much as a joke that sounds like, bro, all of us all night, every night are on eBay and
Dude,
like
right.
we're looking at stuff. We like people always ask like, how do you know what stuff is?
A rap song.
Well, people are always like, how do you know how much stuff is worth or whatever? It's because we're
gotta do your
24/7 looking at this stuff and like learning and studying and like.
Right. But even before this, I was doing that because I'm always trying to buy sneakers, you know. So I'm always like just looking.
Yeah, I mean it's just
trying to
Looking at the fit pics.
Right. Yeah, dude. You gotta immerse yourself in it.
yeah. I mean it's really you can't just jump in behind the counter and people walk in with stuff and like you have no idea what it might sell for or like what you want to pay for it. Like it really like that was a tough part at first too. Was like. You know, figuring out how to work that dynamic of what we're willing to pay for something, what someone's willing to sell it for, and also what we think we can sell it for, because it's all got to work hand in hand. So I think we've gotten pretty good at that with knowing our market in Iowa City of like what'll sell and for what price, because we can't pay $100 for a Bape shirt and try and sell it for $160. It's just not going to work. Like
Right.
we have to get that shirt for what Iowa City's willing to pay for it, but
And
we
it's-
also. We move stuff online too, so we can always sell online to other people.
We
And,
ship worldwide.
yeah, we have people from New York hit us up, and we'll ship a Supreme hoodie that is like way underpriced for New York pricing, but we have it at a steal because it's like everywhere in New York is so inflated, so it kind of works to our advantage like that too. So
It's weird too because it's unprecedented. Like you don't really know what the market's gonna be like. Because if you compare, like you're saying, with round 2 prices or something like that, they're charging more, or, you know. But it's like, and then it's out in New York, and then everything's, you know, they charge more for
everything's
everything,
more,
and it's
yeah, and I get it's funny the stuff we talk about at the store, but the round 2 is so interesting, you know, because like clearly they showed everybody that it's kind of possible to do this type of store and like the model works, right?
Yeah.
But what people sell stuff to them for is kind of crazy, and then what they won't
Yeah.
sell it to us for. I think we've talked about this at the store before. It's like people will go to fly to LA,
Gladly.
take them stuff, and sell it for like dirt cheap just to sell it to round 2. But they'll come to the store and want like over market from us, and it's like, well, we're like the local smaller guy. Like you got to understand, like if you're gonna sell it to round 2 for 100, why would we give you 140 or 150? You know, or like. It's an interesting dynamic. But they're kind of like celebrities at this point, you know. Like Sean's got the shoe with Nike, that was huge. Like they're all like the round 2 show has been huge. Like
yeah. It's
I don't
like
know
you're
if that-
paying for experience, the
I guess-
experience,
yeah,
right?
I guess
like you
that's-
want to go
that's
talk to
part
those
of it,
guys.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll balance out in the end.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
You know, I think so.
yeah, it's just interesting
But-
interesting to think about, you know, because it's like we deal with it every day of like people wanting way over what we can even sell it for, but then we see round 2's paying $120 for like some blue tints, you know.
Right.
Like they have
well,
absolutely-
I don't know. I'm just not there every day. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, just from watching the show and seeing the prices
I
they
don't
throw
know.
out on
Yeah.
stuff,
Right.
it's very.
It makes me think like someone took
Yo,
store
shout
credit
man,
for
they
those, like,
$20 million last
Yeah, that's
year.
bro. I don't know if you
That's
guys. There was a
what's
thing
up.
on HBO. Sean was saying that they did about 20 million in sales between all 7
Jeez,
stores or
man.
whatever it
Yeah.
was, and that's just like
Yeah, that's crazy.
malls are dying. Online is crazy, and
Yeah.
then you have a little store that popped up in Richmond, Virginia, that is now like a giant. It's just like
You know.
it's inspiring. Like they're killing it out there.
Yeah.
he's even inspired like the big companies to turn around, and he's doing shit with them. Like Guess started doing it with like the
Bringing back vintage stuff, right?
yeah, like used stuff that's all like been used and like, you know, curating those vintage pieces and stuff. And there was damn, I can't remember who it was. I want to say maybe H&M was gonna start doing like used clothes or something like that, or some like department store.
That's
Um,
H&M, man. That might be a whole nother episode.
But you remember that when I sent you guys that message about like damn it, I can't remember what the thing was, but yeah.
Well, either way, it's company like I think they're starting to maybe begin to realize that people don't want to see a rack
Like
of
that fast fashion stuff. They
Well, yeah,
wanna
but
have
you don't want to
stuff
see
like-
30 of the same shirt with 5 different sizes of each. You want to go into a store and see a bunch of unique pieces and be able to pick, like
Well, you see what American Eagle's doing with
bringing urban necessities
bringing
in.
necessities in.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
all
Polo
it's all,
too.
tapping into
Like
the
Polo's
resale.
going back to, like
or like retroing the
yeah, where
92
like they're
stadium
doing all
stuff.
the old like nautical stuff again, when all the old like native prints and stuff like that.
And I mean, for us, that's great because we love the vintage stuff and we have a ton of vintage. And like
Yeah.
the more that catches on, like the more people see how cool like an old shirt is compared to going to the mall and buying some $40 nonsense that anybody can get. It's like,
And sustainability too. It's keeping
Yeah,
like,
recycling. You're not. Yeah, because if you're going to H&M and buying a $7 shirt every couple months because they disintegrate in the wash, or you can
Yeah, that shit costs
they
like
do.
20 cents to make.
no, seriously, it's
Yeah.
not. It's
fast
not
fashion
good.
stuff,
Yeah,
like,
it's not good for the
made to get,
environment.
like 1 or 2 wears out of it, and then it ends up getting cut into rags
Yeah. So
or thrown in the garbage.
So yeah, it's all interesting. But so yeah, we've been going for about 40 minutes now. I did want to ask a few questions, and I didn't tell you guys the questions because I wanted to get a real response off the top.
All right.
It's just like,
So-
sell me this thing.
No, I wanted to talk about shoes for a minute because obviously we sell a lot of shoes at the store.
All right.
So being the first episode, I wanted to talk about Jordan 1s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think. Oh, okay. Well,
I got 'em wearing 'em.
two of the 4 of us are wearing Jordan 1s right now.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like the last model of Jordan that gets hype when it drops, right? Am I right in saying that? Like 11s, whatever, still like people get hype, but like when a Jordan 1 is coming out, people talk about it. It's normally going to sell well.
Definitely.
So do you think we're, with the last couple releases that kind of didn't do so well, do you think we're hitting the point where Jordan has just made too many colorways too quick and they're killing the hype on the Jordan 1? Because if you look at the Hyper Crimsons, the Crimson Tints, those red and white ones that came out that no one talks about, like, are they starting to kill?
Phantom.
Virgin red ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's
I
the
mean,
Phantom.
dude, and they're going for under retail. So, and I
It
know
reminds me of that Platinum at 11.
the Platinum.
Oh,
Tint,
yeah,
maybe they
that's-
shouldn't say tint on names or whatever.
I
but-
think that my personal opinion on the ones is that you can never kill the hype on the OG colorways,
Yeah.
but you're gonna be like nobody.
And isn't this year supposed to be the year of the 4, where they have like 25 different colorways coming out?
Well, I think they scrapped that obviously
Oh,
because
they did.
I mean, we're halfway.
Wait,
do they
yeah,
still
I mean,
do
I don't know, we're a
years?
quarter through the year.
I mean, like, not like
'Cause
not
they
like
used to-
year of the horse or like year.
Well, they
of
used
Well,
to really do that
Hey,
though.
actually,
where they do,
there,
like,
there has been a few pairs of 4s that come out already.
yeah,
Like-
but those lava ones or
Yeah.
whatever no one talks about. But I mean, that's besides the point though. I want to talk like
Okay,
the
so-
Jordan 1 is like the last model that people are really
This is-
rocking with, and like. But I guess one of the last point on the Jordan 1, it's supposed to be the shoe where if you invest in it when it's low in a year or so, your return is greater. But on these models right now, the colorways that aren't doing well. Do you think that's still a safe bet, or do you think this is kind of like the plateau of the Jordan 1? That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna answer from like a buyer's perspective first. So, like, before Jordan was making all these crazy colors, they were making like other colors of shoes, and they were messing it up. I feel like that was like when the Martian 7s and all that stuff was coming out. People was like, man, this is crap. You could just make a 1 and put any color on it, and people would be happy with that. And now they're doing that, and
And I don't
people.
I don't think it's working.
And
Like-
people, but I honestly think that silhouette, like, you can just put any color on it, and I think it'll work. I think like there's gonna be tiers to it, like there is now.
Right.
But I'm not mad at the one thing. It's I mean, it's arguably the best lifestyle Jordan sneaker, or the Jordan sneaker that's crossed over into lifestyle.
Yeah, and people are always going to love it, but I just think as in terms of like a reseller investment point, and like now they're flooding the market so hard that it's just kind of like
No, I mean, because if they stop doing this, you know, we could look, people, you know, will look back and be like, man, I wish I would have grabbed this one, this one, this one. But last year they did drop like 30 pairs of 1s.
Well, and this
Which
year
is-
so
which
far,
is
how many have
crazy.
they dropped? Like
I
they've
don't
dropped.
know.
Yeah,
I think it's just you got to know your point, like when to buy it. To
I
where,
think-
like, also if it's
Well,
with
like
these
the turbo
turbos
greens,
and like the
those are-
crimsons, like those sat, and like you can get them under retail. So if you buy them, let's say you buy 4 or 5 pairs at retail and you think they're going to be good, and they don't do anything, they start to flop. Like from an investor point, you would want to buy like probably 10
keep buying
under
low.
retail, to where, because eventually they're going to be more than, you know, they're going to slightly climb back up. You'll see,
I think
you know,
so.
a couple people liking them, or a couple people wearing them that you might like, and you know, you want to pull off that look, or you'll so and so will wear them, and then, you know, price shoots up.
Yeah, I understand that, and I think we're kind of at a breaking point with them because like the Game Royal ones that sat around or whatever and were dirt cheap. Now those are $350, but is a Hyper Crimson one?
Man, I don't know
Gonna
who's
get to
out
that.
here copying Game Royals for $350.
I mean, they're dope. It's like a frag. It's almost like
No,
a fragment.
no,
just
no.
without the
That's-
black.
that's the
Like,
reason.
that's-
Royal,
yeah, I
though?
think that's the reason though. I think it's the
Well,
That's the reason
I
why
just-
the UNC ones shot up, because the
off-white
definitely.
But
Yeah.
those are just
And
beautiful
Chicago.
anyway though. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't even wear Jordans like that, but that UNC one, not the off-white one, is just
powder,
it's a
yeah.
great.
Yeah, see, like,
shoes.
one is my favorite shoe, so like I'm
So you're just
definitely
happy
not-
to see
I'm-
the colors.
yeah,
You
I'm-
don't care.
I'm happy with all the colors because
But-
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
just.
it just seems like the hype on most models is dead. You had the one was the remaining one, and now I feel like they're getting to the saturation points, like an NMD or Ultra Boost.
I think like the sneaker game is changing because like general sneakers aren't the same now. Everybody wants a collaboration shoe that's like sort of some designer collab or something. You know what I mean? So I think the collabs are just going so hard that people aren't respecting the general releases. But I'm telling you that like turbo greens are tight. You know those crimson ones. They're okay. I wish it wouldn't have the.
But are they
pebbles
$350 6 months from now tight?
The turbo greens are. I feel. I don't know about the crimson ones.
Crimson ones are kind of garbage.
Yeah, but like I think the turbo greens are like $350.
So if you're putting your money on a horse, it's the turbo green of this last group.
Out of all the ones that have come out this year, I'm trying to. I mean, besides the hype ones, you know what I'm saying? Like just the general release ones. Yeah, the turbo green are the tightest. By far. Until the. I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know if the black and yellow one will be a general release one, but I think
black
that
toe with the yellow black toe.
I actually think that one's the tightest general.
What about
release
the
one.
shattered backboard like 3.0 or whatever? That looks like an orange.
Rumored, but like no real.
Yeah, and it sounds like it'll be patent leather. The pictures look patent leather, and that's to me.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't go patent leather.
But I'm not saying the Jordan ones are trash. It's just there's a certain amount of colorways that people aren't really messing with, and there's always going to be the good ones that come out. Like we said, like Shattered Backboard, Travis Scott. There's collabs, but
I mean, it's like the Air Force One kind of. You can just go crazy. Like they've reshaped that shoe so many times and put a strap everywhere they can and Nike signs all over it.
But
you know
even
what I'm
like
saying?
Odell Beckham couldn't even move the utility ones. Like there's like the people want the tried and true just the all white lows. People don't want.
I mean, but people people was rocking them. It was a lot at the outlet. I'm not gonna lie. But
it's interesting. But I think on a point that Peter said about like buying low on stuff is we always talk about the store shoes that we had that we sold for dirt cheap and now they're $1,000 shoes.
Oh my goodness!
I guess the big one though that like of course from my standpoint is the Union, because I hit the black toe in an 8.5 and I sat through like when it was like $650, ended up selling them for $780 and literally 2 weeks later they're going for $1,300. And of course Sean Witherspoon's, those were going. We were sold a bunch for like $550, $400, $450 last year, and now they're all over $1,000. So it's kind of interesting to pick and choose what shoes you should really hang on to that's going to double in price within 6 months. It's a very
craziest ones are like those acronyms that I had. Personally, I had those acronym like zippered Air Force ones with the orange on the back, and I sold them for like $120. And now
probably like $1,000.
They're like $800 like new on StockX. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I guess hindsight's 20/20, of course, but if you could figure out what to invest in, or if a shoe, even if you're paying resale for it. Like the Union, if you could have bought 10 pairs at $650, sold them all, 2 months later for $1,300. That's a hell of a...
I don't know. Everybody knew that though going into it. Like you knew
that it would go up.
Yeah,
but $1,300. I thought they'd maybe get back to 1,000.
I felt like it was gonna be like that.
I don't know. I just like you have to have the money, right? It's like stocks.
No, I know. I understand, but like to have the hindsight of like, oh, this shoe is not gonna be a $600 shoe even like a couple months from now. Like this is like the very dip before it hikes back up. Like. Knowing when to.
And I mean, it really is a market, which is something that I think StockX, showed people is that.
Yeah, it's a viable, living, breathing.
Really is. Yeah.
You know what? This type of shit. I'll be curious to see what the Cactus Jack 4 is at next summer. The blue one,
yeah, true. I should have bought that one.
I think they're at the height of. I think they're.
$850 to $900
I think $700 to $800 is max for those.
Really?
Just with the quality and I know it's a dope shoe, but
you don't think they were decent quality? I mean, I guess people were talking about.
And there's glue. There's a lot of glue marks.
There's a lot of them though.
We've been starting to see more
10
pairs
and 10
now.
and a half will be the crazy number.
Huh.
Well, I guess another one is the Travis Scott one that just got pushed back to May 11th, but. I think those are selling for what, 2,000 right now, because it was a real limited release. But after the big drop,
I think even after the drop, they'll stay over 1,000.
Probably, yeah.
For sure.
I think
they stay.
Or maybe after the drop, they hit 700-800. But then is that a shoe to buy for 700 because it's going to be $1,000 in a couple months?
For sure, 100%.
Wait a couple weeks because there's a group of people that if they don't get it on the drop, they turn around and buy it immediately from StockX, and that's when the numbers are climbing. So you want to wait until the pairs get delivered. and then that's when the dip starts to occur.
Yeah, I'm just saying, waiting for that when
For
they
that
when they
dip and then to
plateau
buy
at like
it.
700-800 maybe, is it a shoe to buy because hey, this is gonna be $1,400
I-
again in no time.
I think good collaboration Jordan
Yeah,
ones,
probably.
like
It's a
good
very
good
safe
collab
bet.
Jordan ones are really
buy
safe.
them low,
Yeah.
sit on them, sell them high. That's
Yeah,
it.
almost every exclusive one that's come out has like went crazy.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Like, you
Like
go
from
back
the
to-
not for resales to the Union.
Or like
To-
Lance Mountains
But
back
the
in the
one
day.
that
right?
hasn't.
Oh, shout
the
out to the
Sylvesters.
new
Oh yeah,
the Nigel
Sylvester.
Sylvester. Hey, man, you know
that's
what?
such a
Going
that's
crazy.
such
You know
a fire
what?
shoe.
You know
They're still
what?
at, like,
You know
three,
what?
they're
I
under
just
$400.
realized that, man. That's messed up, dog.
That's
Hey, I don't know what's going on. Like the Nigels need to go up in price. How much?
Yeah,
what are
they
they at
do.
right now?
like
Like
340,
340,
if that.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for 11 and a half. Yeah, they need to go up. I have them 11 and a half.
All right. Well,
Hey, if you want a dogged out pair, Peter has you because he.
Choked out.
they came to
They ain't looking like
yeah.
that. What are you talking about?
Hey,
They're
oh,
talking.
yeah,
They're
no,
talking
yeah.
about how tight you tie your laces.
Okay,
So
wait, yeah,
You
okay.
you did stretch the purple laces out on your turbo
They
green.
don't stretch out.
Okay, here,
I mean,
It's a longer shoe.
If you
need
pull
to have
them tight
pictures.
enough, long enough, they will stretch, bro.
No.
we had a debate. Peter even wanted us to put a poll on the Vice story about does he tie his shoes too tight.
And you guys are all wrong. You're walking
Over-
around loose-footed with no support. You gotta
Overwhelming,
sprain your ankles at least once a week.
overwhelmingly, he tied them too tight was the response that we got. It was like
Yeah.
85 to 15, maybe, but
And he's back at it again.
well, and then
today.
so
People-
this was about what, like a month or two ago or something. We did that poll, and he just hits us yesterday in the group chat with, "Hey, these turbo green laces, they're longer than the pine greens." He's like, I told you they're just long for Jordan 1s.
Just
They
a
were-
video with them laid out next to each
Man,
other.
these
And
shits,
you
these
can
shits were
tell.
like maybe an inch longer.
Yeah.
But if you choke your shit out of your shoes
there's
every day,
like
they're gonna
a
stretch.
68-inch lace and a 72-inch lace.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they look like 4 inches, but to each their own. But
Hey man, I feel you gotta have support. You're right.
Yeah, I don't want my ankles to be flopping around in my shoes and
Yeah.
just my shoes not tight and falling off when I'm stepping on them. No,
I guess
You might need ankle braces.
my ankles aren't that weak. What?
piggybacking off that though, have you? We've seen a few people come in the store with the Cause Yeezy lacing. Have you guys seen this?
Yes.
Yeah.
A picture hit like Twitter, Instagram of like you could lace your Yeezy 350 V2 to look like the Cause, like
XIs or
the
whatever,
XIs
yeah.
and like the ears.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
And immediately we saw a couple come in and they both had their cream whites on and laced up like that. And we've seen a few other kids and like, how do you guys feel about like lacing stuff like that or like doing? I've never been a fan of like lace swapping or like doing crazy stuff like that, but it seems to be that people.
Virgil made it cool. Like I mean that all the off-white now all these kids
Okay,
want all the different laces.
I guess
for the,
lace swapping in the sense of like buying like a rope lace from a different
'cause
website.
that was a
Not-
big deal. In
I don't care if you take
2014.
the laces that come with the shoe. If it comes with multiple, that's fine. Like that's still lace swapping, but it's not
No,
like
but,
going
like-
out and buying. Like,
Oh wait, no.
But it'll be like-
I
what about
buy
those ones you
laces
don't have to
like
tie, that
depending
you
on
just,
what
like,
I want to
pull?
do. Like those night joggers, I'm like, ooh, these would be fire with some rope laces.
I guess
And, like,
I've never been into that, but I'm saying like it seems
I mean,
like people.
that's not like a thing, right? It's not like I'm out here just lace swapping
it
everything
was
I
in the
touch.
80s.
You know, I'm not a lace swapper. You know, I just
I-
if I feel like
you're
it's
a-
necessary.
Hey, you're a habitual lace swapper.
Hey,
This man's he's got a box of. I've never seen so many shoelaces in my life.
dude, every
They
pair of
They
shoes,
do good. They do
every
come
pair
in.
of shoe comes with 2 or 3 pair of laces nowadays.
This-
Sometimes 4.
yeah.
This
No,
man
you
lace
know?
swaps so hard he has like a hoard stash.
Companies are
of
pushing
laces.
it on you like crazy. Think about it, bro. You being forced to lace swap out here.
Oh, so it's their fault.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? I keep my laces because I don't want them to end up in the ocean, you know. And so I keep them and I use them whenever we need.
Damn, big facts. We don't want them like wrapped around a turtle's neck or something.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
bro.
Recycle
Nah,
your
this is
laces,
real,
reuse
bro.
your laces.
Or
don't-
come bring them to us, bro. We'll put them in something.
He'll add them to his hoard stash.
You know. But
But yeah, so I guess that was the big question I wanted to drop on the first episode. Is bring up tying the Jordan 1. We have a lot of ties to Jordan 1s, obviously with the
Shoe.
84 the shoe, our
Yeah.
1984 Bred 1 player exclusive that we been debating on what to do with.
Yeah, send us some offers, guys. We want to sell it.
Yeah, if you're in the market for a piece of history, hit us up. I guess we
It's
can
world history.
tell that story and get more into the Nike.
you can see it for $10. We can.
Start doing shows.
an
Yeah,
exhibition.
It is in a undisclosed location
$10 to
somewhere.
hold it. $15 to touch it.
We can we'll definitely do an episode talking all about the Nike buyout and some cool stuff that we've done because that's a huge part of the Vice story too. But yeah, I think that was pretty good for the first episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, dude. Man, I want to keep talking about Jordan 1s.
I guess I'll come up with some more questions for the next one. So I just want to, Pete, if you want to go, what's your where can people find you at personally on Instagram?
Oh, at Iowa_thrift.
At the real Iowa.
Okay.
No, it's just
You'll see a Hawkeye colored Nike SB dunk, I believe, something like that is the classic profile picture.
On there.
D, where can they find you?
At Buddy Bruce Leroy.
Buddy Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, Buddy Bruce Leroy.
Noah, you gotta get your numbers up, dog. If
No,
you're
yeah.
pod,
Yeah,
Okay.
my boy get to
It's
1K.
just Noah, NOAHRJW, my initials. Perfect.
Yeah, this man's always getting some fits off. I see him. He's walking to class in some next level shit.
Yeah.
So you gotta give him a
Hey,
follow.
I would say you have to be top, in the top 10 freshest kids at the university.
Wow.
We need to find out who the top 10 freshest kids are.
Honestly, they're probably all exchange students
How-
from China and
Yeah.
Korea.
Or just the top 10 freshest kids in town,
Okay, local.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
definitely.
you-
I'm going
Maybe
for it.
we could set
Brave.
some shit like that. We could do a like a Howard Stern style, like bring the contestants in. They won't be able to see it, but we'll judge.
Yeah.
No,
I
actually,
think I'm gonna
we
come
can go
live.
get a camera in here and go live for that
We gotta
one.
do a
Y'all
fit
gotta-
battle
y'all
again.
gotta-
I really want to wear my Gucci Mane T-shirt tucked in my Louis belt.
Ooh, you look like a gangster Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Well, and you can find me, Tony, at Tony V.I.C.E.S. And then also, of course, follow the store at Vice Iowa City. We just hit
Yeah.
6K. We're coming for that 10K. We want to be able to sell stuff on the Instagram with the little dot.
Yeah.
We gotta get to
Swipe
10K
up
for that.
stuff.
Yeah, we want to get so many followers. They just put a K next to the number.
Damn, yeah,
Straight up.
big facts.
I think it's at 10.
10 or 11, yeah, something like that probably.
Why would they would do it at 11?
No, it's
No, it's 10. It has to be 10. Yeah.
Either way, we're trying to get there. This has been the first episode of V.I.C.E.S. Again, that's the Vintage Iowa City Exchange show. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.